Hey everybody, come on in. What's going on, everybody? Come on in. Let me get a couple of more viewers before I go on and bring my special guest in. How y'all doing? All right, you guys, how are you? I am Brandon, better known as Style Me Brandon. So we're coming on here, we're going through this pandemic. COVID-19 is not going to stop us. So I thought it would be fun to, bring a couple of clients on of mine. Clients that I've styled with and worked with for numerous of months and years. And today my special guest is Bishop Trotter. I'm waiting on him to get on. I'm gonna bring him on, but we basically gonna just touch base on fashion, his look of fashion, what I've taught him about fashion, his experience with myself working for him. And we're gonna talk about some other things. You guys know he's a genius in all his ways in preaching. He's an artist. He can cook better than your grandma. Like, the man has been doing this for over 30-some years. Like, the man is great, and he got some good knowledge for y'all today. But I'm going to pull it out of him. Just so you know, this is not a scripted show. He does not know anything I'm getting ready to ask him. We didn't prep. Only thing we did was a live run through so we could make sure our cameras was working. So you guys give me some hearts. I'm going to go ahead and bring him on. Let's see. All right, you guys, come on. Let's give a man of God some hearts as he come on in. Y'all stand up for the judge. Y'all stand up for the president. Let's go. Man of God, come in. Bishop, turn your camera around for me.
All right.
There you
go, better?
Sir. There you go. There you go. Well, welcome, Bishop. How are you, Bishop Trotter?
I'm blessed. Better than anybody you know. I'm surviving the pandemic, as we all are.
Yes,
and appreciate this time.
Well, I thank you for totally taking this invitation to come on and talk client talk with me as we, encourage the people, get them a love, because we'll get into that later. But Bishop, when he hired me, he said, I didn't think I needed no stylist. I think I dressed pretty well. But we'll get into that later on down the interview. But
what's funny about that? Because I see my son Randall Parker from Toledo, and Pastor Kerry Conner is on from Vegas. The funny part about this, and I hate to admit it, but I ain't even know what a stylist was.
Well, we're going to get into that, Bishop. Don't go too fast. Don't go too
All right.
fast. So what we're going to start off with, so you guys know me. I'm Brandon Moment, better known as Style Me Brandon. I've been styling now for going on 10 years in August. I am a wardrobe stylist, image consultant, personal shopper, closet organizer. Everything dealing with your image is what I do. Bishop Trotter hired me many years ago to be his personal stylist. I've done his closet. I've styled him for some of his biggest events, his preaching gigs, just every regular Sunday morning service. So that's a little about me. You guys know my Instagram, my Facebook, everything's Style Me Brandon. My website, www.stylemebrandon.com. So now I'm gonna leave the floor to my guest, Bishop. We all know you, the world, the universe, all knows you. But for the people that doesn't, if you can just give an introduction of who you are.
Well, that's just me. I'm Bishop Larry Trotter, and I guess I've been doing this for ages. I've been preaching 45 years. I've been pastoring Sweet Holy Spirit for 38 years. I've been a recording artist for 30 years. I've been a bishop for 26 years. And so I got a little history and legacy building behind me. and I pastor the greatest church this side of heaven, Sweet Holy Spirit. And if you don't have anywhere else to get your praise on, that's one place, that one thing is going to happen, or two things going to happen. You get your praise on, you're going to get a good word. And Todd calls it the place where great people gather. I want to say this, Brandon. It's funny because we were at the broadcast at Cosmopolitan, and I believe it was Mildred and Tyshawn said to me, we found this guy that needs to style you. I say, style me for what? I've been putting my clothes together
So
forever.
you're doing
What y'all
real
talking
good. You
about?
went into my next question, so you're doing good. That my next question was going to be, how did you come in contact, or how did you found Style Me Brandon? So you can go on and pick up. You said we was at Cosmopolitan, and Mildred and Tashawn said what?
So I need it, all professional people had stylists. I said, well, hell, I've been professional all my life. Ain't nobody style me. I just put something together. But the journey has been good, and you, Brandon, have brought a lot of compliment and a lot of character to how I dress and when I dress. And the thing about it, I'll say this, and I can go down and list the question. The thing about it is that I've been able to trust you to come wherever I was living. You've moved me twice, organized the closets. I can call and
I
say,
moved you
Brandon, I
three
need
times,
5
Bishop.
outfits.
I moved you three
Yeah,
times.
okay. And I said, Brandon, come pick me 5 things out. Whether that was for the Stellas, whether that was dancing with the pastors, whether that was going to meet with the mayor, or whether that was just going outside casual. And it took a whole lot of weight off me because I'm like looking around. I see the Duchess is on here, and you've done some stuff for her, and different people that I've taken to dance with the pastors or Stellas, done stuff for them. So it's all kudos. I guess a lot of pastors are not like artists per se, which I wear all 3 hats. Figure they don't need anybody to show them what to wear, when to wear, and I don't have the eye to match a thread in a suit with a tie, or how to bring it out, or what shoe. And so I've been able to trust Brandon over the years. Just give him a credit card and say, just make sure I look right tomorrow. So every birthday, every anniversary, and every special event. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, well that's good. So that's it. So Bishop, next question we're gonna get in. So I basically wanna ask you, I believe we talked about this in our consultation, or maybe when I've been dressing you or so, or came over to the house. So and we also went into a downfall because we did get some bad feedback on some things that I put you in, but we'll talk about that later. But I want to start off with the second question is there a dress code for how a bishop which you are and other pastors should look concerning
I think
fashion?
a lot.
Is there like a dress code?
I don't think there is anymore. Um, what you have done, I'm 63. I'm proud of it. But
You
when
look
I go
good, sir.
places, people will say to me that I look 50 because of my dress, and some even younger than that, because you all have kept me relevant. I don't wear them long quartet suits and big knot
Well, he
ties
would
and
love to put
strange
them on,
things.
y'all. Trust me. I have to shoot him a
Yeah.
text like, Bishop, what do you have on? I didn't lay that out for you. He doesn't mind. He doesn't mind.
Yeah, I take criticism, but I don't want to ever be go to the pulpit or on TV or wherever I am, and I look like a blast from the past. If you remember, you dressed me for the what's the girl's show on Channel 7?
Windy City
Um,
Live.
Wednesday Live, and the other pastor was in there. He was jealous because I had all this attention and what have you. Well, hey, I had my team. It was you and Tyshawn and somebody else, and the socks and the shoes and what have you. So when I was, well, of course, on Windy City Live, one time was me and the choir pushing off one of our CDs. Another time was Dancing with the Pastors, which was two kinds of dress.
Yes.
And you were able to say, okay, because you're doing the waltz, you don't need to wear thus and so. I wouldn't have known no difference. I put on suit and tie. I'm gonna be on Channel 7. I ain't care. And then at the Stella's, the white party, and what I should or shouldn't wear. I didn't always have to be executive with the collar, the cross, and the chain. And you've been one to push. A lot of preachers in particular, and I'm sure they'll hit me up in a minute. A lot of preachers in particular, uh, once the iWatch came out, they gave up their watch collection. I got 60, 70 watches. And so this was one of the struggles me and Brandon would have. He came on Saturday night. I'm getting ready. I'm listening to DeAndre and all of them getting ready for church. And he leave a watch out. So when people don't wear watches no more, they use their phone or what have you. But I didn't know that a watch was a part of the dress code and that it accented actually what he was trying to bring out. Because even prior to Facebook and all this stuff we're doing now, I was on the Word Network. I'm a TV preacher. I'm on we was on all the major concerts, and so I had to kind of stop and think. Well, maybe there is a validity for somebody to help me in these areas. I got too much to think. I got to think on the Word. I got to think on the songs. I got to think of the business. I got to keep the vision intact. And then I gotta deal with pastors across the world who, on one side, say you go too far. On the other side, say you know it's wonderful. And then those that don't understand that fashion has a lot to do with your presentation as a preacher.
Mm-hmm.
One of Jamal Bryant's strengths beyond being one of the greatest preachers in the world is that the boy can dress. I don't know who his stylist is, but
He keeps good
Jamal
socks
ain't coming
on.
out
He
the
keeps
sack.
good socks on.
Yeah, yeah. And so,
Uh-huh.
it's been a good journey.
Well, that was it. So that went into my next question. You flowing real good. That's why even when you're not in the pulpit, you still flow real good. Because my next
Okay.
question was going to be, is a stylist necessary? But you touched base on all of that. So that's real good. Thank you, Bishop. I am so honored. So then it goes into, I know you got a couple of points to throw on this, which you threw out the watch. But what are some other things beyond the watch that complements your outfit that you learned from myself, Brandon?
Well, I'll just say when you recommended certain colors, whether it was for a photo shoot or whatever, I say this man lost his mind. I look taking a album cover with a yellow hat or whatever it was, or going to the Stellars with, because I mean, I would call it a Bobby Jones type jacket, with the prints and stuff, and it actually worked for me. And I'm fighting all the way. You and Tyshawn, I ain't wearing that. Brandon. And then when I got there and I saw that the other people were looking well in what they wore. One place I went, and I took pictures of them who's recording of me and Donald Lawrence, Ricky Dillard, and some others. And I fitted right in. I didn't fit out like the old preacher from Chicago. I fitted right in the photo with some of the artists. And people have complimented me over the years. The Kirk Franklins, the Yolanda Adams, the people have asked me, well, who styled you? You know, or who picked that out for you? Or why did you think you were comfortable wearing that? And so even though we had those rough spots where I was saying, I don't know how I look in that, I
Oh, we had
saw
a
you
lot of those.
come, yeah, and I saw you come and style some of my artists, and for the label, and made them look fabulous. So it wasn't necessarily looking for nothing else. I hate photo shoots, but you gotta wear this, you gotta wear that, and, but it became a part of the ministry,
Uh-huh.
and so I actually am convicted when I just throw something on and do anything.
Job
I've
well done,
learned that
Brandon.
much. Yeah, I learned that much. So now I guess while we're on COVID-19 home arrest, whatever you call this, maybe we need to set out what we're gonna wear when we come out of the closet, when we come out of the house, when we
Most
get back to the
definitely.
church. We got to make a statement. You
Most
know,
definitely.
Mickey in my church. Well, she's not there anymore, but Karen Evans, I think I saw her name. But Mickey is one of those other people who is very meticulous about what she's gonna wear before she leads praise and worship, before she goes to preach. And she was a master in going to the what you call them stores, resale shops,
Uh-huh.
and had groups going. It was a wonderful thing, and it gave women another outlook on how they should dress. If you remember, and I'll keep the name nameless, I was going to be on Dancing with the Pastors, of course, with John Hanna and some of the other prestigious preachers of Chicago. And I said, Brandon, I can't go in there looking halfway. But in addition to not going looking halfway, the young lady that was going to escort me to the reception, you took and dressed her.
Yes.
And so when we went, all eyes were on us, which was not something I have never told a woman in my lifetime. Okay, that don't look right. You got to wear this. But you told us, and honey, you're going to put us up. You're going out with the bishop. He's a worldwide bishop. He's a recording artist. He's not a novice in this. And when you finished with her, I don't know what y'all did, but she was a different person going out that door.
Yes, she was. She didn't. I looked at her. I remember that. I remember that because she made me nervous when she came to rehearsal. And when she showed
Yeah.
up, I said, "Now we gonna have to make it make sense." I was very nervous, but we pulled it together, and we
Well,
got
that's
it.
you. That's you. And I'll just say, since we're live across the world, you can get on to somebody's damn nerve, but at the end result, you'll get the people will get what they really needed from the
Yes.
beginning. It's true.
And I'm passionate about my job, and my thing is like what I've always tell my clients, and I've told you. When you hire me to do a job. So I'm not going to take your money without you being pleased. So yes, Bishop, I
Yeah.
have many a times his driver has picked him up on Sunday, and I've been shot him a text at 7:30 in the morning. Bishop, do you have on the right glasses? Do you have on the right so and so?
But not only that, you came.
Yes,
Now Mickey's laughing
I
now
came
because
because
when I first looked at some stuff she said, I said, "What is she doing?" But before it was over, everybody wanted to dress like Mickey, so she started this club.
uh-huh.
So same thing with me. If you saw me at 7:30 on Facebook or
We
whatever,
only changed your
by
shirt and
nine
tie.
by 9:30, you coming in and changed my whole outfit.
Yeah, we'll
When
change your
we had
shirt and tie, and
security
you just
issues
don't
and
know
all that
it.
stuff, say that's not gonna work. That'll
It
work for
didn't
the
work
older
out.
saints.
And Bishop has a ton of security when the church is open. And here and now and then they didn't want me back there, but I would text whoever I could text back there, oh, I'm getting back there. Because when he comes out, my name is on the line because everybody knows, oh, Brandon dresses Bishop. And since we're on that topic, there's been a couple of times that Bishop has been the man that he is, and Bishop, which he has so many titles. And getting dressed is the last thing on his mind. He finds whatever he has to find and he has to go. People, ministry, those are the things that's on his mind. That's his passion. So I will look up, Bishop will be live, or he'll been posted a picture, and I would text Pastor Sean, shout out to my cookie, or I would text him and say, excuse my French, but what the hell does Bishop got on? What does he have on? I don't understand. He's on the news, Channel 7 News there. He's giving out to the homeless people. It's 80 degrees outside. He got on Ugg boots. He got on shorts and a trench coat. What is going on? And they will always say, Tashawn's favorite line was, well, Bishop is a grown man. And I say, well, this doesn't make sense. We are his team. What is going on? We know this is the last thing on his mind, his appearance. Now, what he is gonna make sure he got on his good glasses. He got his phones, and he got all his gadgets. But when it comes to appearance, oh, that bishop will put on what he needs to put on. But his two go-to is the preacher's suit. And but he loved that African preaching suit. That purple one, I know y'all done saw it. That's his favorite preaching suit. But it got the oil on it now. It got the oil on it. It got the oil on it. But that's good, Bishop. Very good. So since all
But you,
that, I want to touch base on, let's get a little deep and let's be very honest. What are the pros and cons of having a wardrobe stylist?
I think one of the pros for me, and those that know me, I see Brandon is on here, Brandon Willingham and Karen and Lavanja. You know, I live alone, and because I live alone, I have 3, 4 closets, and one of the main pluses for me is that you took time and put the dress clothes in the bedroom California closet, and then you put the casual clothes in another floor, and then you put my preaching suits and liturgical outfits in another, which helps me when there's nobody here. I know which closet to go in and get blue jeans. I know which closet to go in and get a suit. Or if I say, Brandon, I'm going to the convention and I need to make a statement when I walk in. So I want 5 different things, not all black, not all plain, not all plaid. See, and the preacher mindset, get you a black, blue, and gray suit and a couple of ties and those god awful alligator shoes we used to wear all the time. And you was it. But in this new day and era, if we look at some of the fashions like Matthew Stevenson wears or some of the others, it's no longer just a suit. The preacher or the priest, the man or woman of God, can minister in other outfits that are appealing to Generation X and millennials and others. And it doesn't make me, I don't look like I'm 80 trying to be 40, even though I'm 63. And a lot of people say I dress like I'm 35, 40. That's a compliment. When you dressed me for both of Ricky Dilla's concerts, the one in Detroit when we did the Red Affair,
Yes.
and one in DC,
Yes.
and I still get compliments. And so I think the value is not that any man or woman of God or any preacher or any artist is quote unquote ugly, but we do need some help in picking what works for us. Some things I don't look well in, you know, and somebody has to say, okay, that ain't you. And that preacher, teacher who is always in authority has to say, okay, well, that ain't my expertise. So I'm gonna let somebody else that's looking at me say, you're dressing too old for this event, or you're dressing too young for an older event. I don't have that eyesight. You know, the preaching suit gets away because I'm going to preach revival. But anything beyond that, and even with a preaching suit, if I preach for Holy Name Cathedral, I'm not wearing a preaching suit. I'm gonna put on a collar, a cross, and a chain, and my ring, and all those kind of things. But yet, and still, if I preach at the PFW and some other places, I could do suit and tie. You know, and so it kind of depends on the venue, the culture of the church, what the event is. I'll guarantee you, and God bless his soul, he's in heaven, they still holding him out for his funeral. I'll guarantee you, and this may be a very boastful statement, stay with me. Don't leave me, Lavanja, don't leave me, Mickey. I think I've been the best dressed preacher at Lucius Hall's famous banquets all these years. Period. Period. And they be dressed to kill. Bernard McKenzie and Doug Powell and all the preachers, I mean, we dressed to kill. And I make my entrance and everybody say, wow. And when you thought I was dead anyway, because when I was so sick, I was so small. Everybody said, well, you know, yeah, a ghost walked in, but God healed me. And the healing now matches the clothes.
Very good. That's very, very good. Very good. Okay, so yeah, you were the best dressed. You and Alderman Coleman, because
Oh,
you got the best dressed.
oh yeah, we can walk in together. That's my girl, Stephanie.
She's actually my next guest next week, so you guys make sure you tune in and see Alderman Coleman. We're gonna talk some good talk. So this
But
next,
she's jealous, so she's mad with me right now because I made her mama some
yes, I heard about
salmon
that. I
croquettes.
heard about that.
Yeah, but she'll get over it. She know my address.
Yes, yes. So, Bishop. So the next question, so you are 63. It looks real good on you, but a lot of us on this live and myself, you got us knocked out in age. So if you can think about back in your days, back in your early 20s, early 30s, what was something that stands out to you now in fashion that you wish would come on back right now? Which, not before you answer, you do know fashion repeats itself. So what's something that you ready for it to come on back so Brandon can go and put you in
well, I sure don't want it to be the platform shoes, but
it?
I wore a mean afro in the day. If afros came back, I don't know if that would adjust to my new alopecia when it came with age. But I do like if you look at Malcolm X or one of those movies that were filmed and petitioned in the 50s or 60s, you never saw a man with a sharp suit and a sharp coat. I love that era. I love the era of my mother was in the 20s and the 30s when the women wore their gloves and their hats and back then in the day, 20 years ago, it was unheard of for a woman not to walk in with them hat and gloves on, and they'd be clean. Now Kojic is still known for those crowns of glory, but the Baptists are more independent, and these fellows
Baptist.
are not. But I think it gave, and you look at those movies, you'll see what I'm saying. It gave people pride. I mean, they dress up to go to the store. They just don't know blue jeans to go to the store. Men would have a suit. And when I was a young boy in this city, you didn't walk up and down 47th Street. Of course, it was where our stores were. And you had your Florshams and you had your dress shops and your men's shops. And women even went shopping sharp. So now, your age and others, and I guess even in mine, will throw on a hoodie and what have you. I kind of wish we went back because people of other color have uh, have kind of maintained the Brooks Brothers look, whatever they're doing, and we kind of just relaxed it. So if I get up and go to the store and get some oxtails, which I'm gonna do soon, cook something for the weekend, one day tomorrow, the next day. I may just throw on some blue jeans when 20 years ago you didn't do that. You dressed like the preacher, the businessman, the alderman, even if you went to the grocery store. So times have changed, and I guess it's okay for me to go feed the homeless in my Timbs or what have you, but of course not with shorts or with my I bought some of them pajama bottoms. I was out in Nevada, and they said, well, they wear these as pants. And I went one night. I went out one night. Boy, they let me have it. People saw me. What are you doing with your pajamas? I said, well, they told me you can wear these as pants. And they were red, and I had my little house shoes on. I was just running down the street. But I found out I can't do that because of who I am.
Yes. Yes.
And a lot of what you do, Brandon, as a stylist, to style are where they're going, what works and what doesn't work. Every woman shouldn't have purple hair. It don't work.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work. Not for everybody. Or blonde. Every man shouldn't have a processed hairdo. It doesn't work. Even though they're trying to bring them back, everybody ain't James Brown and Little Richard just went to heaven. God bless his heart. But that ain't for everybody, you know. And you got to kind of figure out who you are. I like the conservative look for the most part, but I also like being dressed up. And I guess that's one of the things that feeds our ego. The Bible says false balance is an abomination to the Lord, abomination. But when you feel like you look good, you perform better. You know, me and Duchess, it's better with the Duchess be on later on. But me and Duchess would paint the town, and you were with us in Vegas.
Yes.
And like, who are them two people from Chicago? So we wasn't going out the door and let the people at the Stellars say at Bishop and Duchess, and she was my main artist at those particular years. We weren't going out halfway, and then you wouldn't let Tyshawn or anybody else that accompany us look raggedy.
I know.
So when we stepped out of the what's that hotel we stayed up at, that Palace, I can't call the name of it. But by the time we got down to the Golden Nugget, all eyes were on us. Leandra said to me one time, she said, "Well, Bishop, I always wanted you to be my father, but now you're looking like you might want to be a little more than that." I fell out the floor. As Jameson said, well, who put that on you? Yeah, he said, "I like your skirt and blouse." I said, it ain't a skirt and blouse, but it's nice.
It's very.
If they clown like that at the workshop and at the Stellars, and you kind of have to know people when they're joking like that. But that's their way of complimenting.
Uh-huh.
And it's the stylist that has the gift. If I have the gift of prophecy, or if I have the gift of healing, or if I have the gift of preaching, I don't have to have the gift of styling if I got somebody that can do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
That's very good. So we're going to go on and wrap up, Bishop, but I have two more questions for you. The first question is going to be, what are some advice that you can give this next generation of preachers? These preachers that are up and coming, that are trying to be pastors, trying to get to the level of bishops, apostles, whatever they're trying to be. If they didn't got their license online for $50, whatever they got in store, but they are the next generation as ministry leaders. Is concerning fashion. What type of tip would you give them? Well, we can use the fashion or we can use appearance. What advice would you give them so that their appearance won't basically stop them from where they could be headed or where they're going?
Well, a lot of these new apostles, bishops, prophets, or what have you, are too flamboyant, and they think the religious clothes makes them holier than what they are. I can prophesy in my pajamas. So one of the things I would tell them is that, all that extra stuff with the crosses and stuff in it is not making you a better preacher or what have you. Secondly, I would suggest to them that they dress according to their age group. Don't try to be too old and don't try to be too young. You got to find that middle ways, because you got these people that feel like, I got to dress like Rev dressed. Well, Rev is 75 years old. And that's not going to work for you reaching people. I have never gone out witnessing, Brandon, with a collar on or a tie on, because that to me is a barrier for the people I'm preaching to.
Mm-hmm.
So if I study the demographic of the church where I'm going, that has a lot to do with me saying, Brandon, this church I'm going to, the average age is 35.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not wearing my robe there. I need to do something else. Maybe I need to do a jacket and a polo. And so I think a lot of the young preachers are not, here's the word I'm looking for, are not cognizant of what to wear when. And artists will tell you that a lot of your applause may not come from the music. It may just come from how you look. And if I look right from the pulpit and I flop with the sermon, I still have scored, because I have presented the gospel in a package for a man that's been preaching 45 years. I'm pastoring a historic church, the church known across the world. These big feet of mine have been on 6 continents. I ain't going to Antarctica yet. Ain't found anybody go to Antarctica to see the penguins, but I've been everywhere else. And I always want to be, even when flying, I want to fly. What's that word y'all use? Swag. I don't want to just throw anything on the fly. And if I'm going fishing, that's different. I ain't going fishing in no, special clothes like some people do. But I mean, if I'm flying, when I walk through the airport and people say, "Hey, that's Bishop Trotter," I should reflect the office that I have carried for 27 years. I should reflect the office I've carried as a pastor
Uh-huh.
for 38, soon to be 39 years. I shouldn't just go through the airport looking like a bum.
Very good.
And so it makes me, by having a stylist, whether I call you or not, it makes me think twice. You can't wear that.
Yes.
You used to get away with that,
Uh-huh.
but you can't do that no more
Yes.
because you represent thousands
Uh-huh.
upon thousands of people,
Uh-huh.
not just in Sweet Holy Spirit, but worldwide.
Uh-huh.
And Bishop Morton was one of the people that taught us that. I didn't know nothing about no tailor-made suit. I didn't know about no alligators. I didn't know what that was until I joined Full Gospel.
Uh-huh.
And it raised the bar for all of us.
Uh-huh.
Until that one day Eddie Long got up and said, tonight the Lord said everybody is going to give the cost of their shoes. And Kirk Franklin looked at me and he said, "Boy, you got to pay for them Crocs you got on." And we laughed about it. But I mean, it was a raising of the bar. So they go to these conventions and Church of God in Christ convocations and these conferences, and people now don't just go unless it's dictated that it's a dress down. It's still a fashion show,
Uh-huh.
and we have to look at it that way.
That's good, Bishop. That's good. You helping the people, as Otis Mack would say. You're helping them. You here to help them.
That's
Bishop,
right.
just quick little fun facts. I know these answers already, but if you could kind of answer them, what's your favorite store to shop at, and what's your favorite brand?
My favorite what shop?
Your favorite store to shop at, clothing store.
Oh, that's hard. Well, I want to quickly say,
Well, you know you love gifts, so go on and tell the people.
well, I do love gifts. I'm not there. I'm not. I love Zara
Uh huh.
because I like the fact that in Zara they generally only make one suit in one size,
Uh huh.
and you don't see it a lot of times. Um, I don't know where she's taken me, but Zara is one of them. And then I like a lot of specialty
Uh
stores.
huh.
Of course, we've gotten some wonderful deals at Nordstrom's Rack,
Yes, we have.
and they can put it down as you want to. But if you shop long enough, you can find a nice shirt or something, even at KMG. So it's wide.
Uh huh.
But Zara, I would say, if somebody say want to take me somewhere right now, I would probably say Zara, Nordstrom's, or Saks. I don't know what Saks' status is. I used to be Macy's because I worked at Macy's when it was Marshall Field, and Macy's was one of the ones that came out with a men's line. And when I went to San Francisco, I had never heard of a Macy's men's store.
Uh huh.
And so when I go out there to preach for Humphrey, I spent a day in there because nobody else in the country at that time had a store. Macy's had a store just for men.
Uh huh. Yes.
So, those are some of them. And of course, I use you and other people's recommendation for shoes. I don't have any one particular shoe shop. Hey, Ashley, I love you. And all y'all down in Mississippi, I see they're chiming in from everywhere. Brandon, you know a lot of people.
Well, God is good.
Yeah.
And then what's your favorite brand, Bishop? You know, you got a couple of those, but just give me one good one. Give me a good label. You know you
I
like
would
Louis.
have to say between Louis Vuitton and Gucci.
Yes. Well, you know you got a couple. You got a couple of those.
Yeah.
So, do you guys have any questions? We're kind of get ready to wrap up. You know, Bishop has been on Zoom calls. He's been talking to you all day, so I don't want to hold him too long. I told him 30 minutes. We didn't went to 40 minutes. But so if y'all got any questions, drop them real quick. We'll take one or two. A question that you have for the man of God containing to fashion. Containing to fashion. What's going on? My bros and got on Tim Hawkins. Tim Hawkins worked with Bishop before. Jeremy Ferguson, what's going on, man? He fresh out of photo shoots. Thank you for tuning in, man. Those are my colleagues, y'all.
Debbie Scott, Eric Clark is there. And these are some great people, sharp dressers. And I guess sharp dressers, look upon it, look upon something like this as more crucial than somebody who is not concerned about how they look. And I think that's great.
All right, we have. Thank you, Jeremy. So they threw the questions in. I told y'all I don't want to hold the bishop too long. So Bishop, one last question. I know you touched on Jamal Bryant, but give me a celebrity or someone that's in the limelight, a reality star, NFL player, even maybe one of your colleagues, a preacher or so, someone that influenced you that you want to tell me, Brandon, I need to mimic a look from this man.
On the casual side, I like, I study different preachers, but there's a new guy that has a great word. His name is Darius Daniels. He does some incredible casual kind of outfits. He's not the dressy guy.
Okay.
Um, in the secular world, I'm just kind of blown away depending on what they wear. Like Jamal will come out with a bomber jacket that doesn't make him less than a preacher,
Uh-huh.
but it don't make him look like a drug dealer.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in a category um, by itself.
Uh-huh.
On the other hand, as great a preacher as he is, I don't look at E. Dewey or some of those others as people who are very fashion conference. I tell you who's a fashion conference in this city that I really like is is uh, Sharp, Reginald Sharp. I think Reginald Sharp
Reginald
at
Sharp
Fellowship,
dresses good. He gives me a
he
good. He
dresses
gives me a
good.
good double breasted suit.
Yeah, and he's himself.
Yes.
But let me just be vain and say I'm me.
Yes,
Me.
you are, sir. Very good. Yes, you are. Yes, that's very good. Very, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think your members on here. They saying you look real good. Somebody said they like how Bishop Campbell dressed.
And Campbell was very sharp in his earlier days. I think that now that he's had some sicknesses and what have you, that they need to take his clothes in and help him out a little bit
Uh-huh.
because he's lost a lot of weight. And that was one of the things you had to do for me. When I was sick, you had to make sure those suits were taken in, and whoever's doing that for him needs to help take him in that area
So it is
and what have you.
important to have a tailor.
Yeah.
It's very important to have a tailor. Very, very important. So, Bishop, is there anything else that you want to touch base on as far as myself, Style Me Brandon, or
And
as far as
and,
fashion?
and what I do want to say is that don't take nothing from Campbell. He's my friend. He's one of the greatest preachers we ever had. He is anointed, uh, and whatever happens, how God heals him, he will go down in history
Mm-hmm.
as some other preachers in the city, even in their own style. You say what you want to say about Father Hayes, but he was clean in his own style. Bishop Ford in his era was sharp in his own style. I've even seen Eric Thomas with some pieces that he's come in, and I don't know who sold them for him. Like, Saint Eric, you ain't got the robe on tonight. You got a suit on. So we got some gospel stars, and then of course those that went to heaven. You never caught Maceo, or you never caught Lucius half dress.
Uh-huh.
You know, Chicago has set a standard, and talk about the
They like
music.
to shine. They be glitter.
Yeah, you talk about the music and all of the great artists from Bashan all the way all the way to uh, just any of them. I mean, they have always represented Chicago well. And I'm not saying him because he was a part of our church, but Kenny Lewis will blow you away with fashions right here in the
Kenny's one of the
city.
ones that in Chicago started wearing gym shoes with suits. Wear sneakers
Yeah,
with suits.
yeah, and still. He makes a statement when he walks in the room.
He keeps a
Malcolm
good
Williams. I mean, I can go on and on
Malcolm will be on
as
the
far as
show
gospel
also.
artists.
That's one of our clients too.
Yeah, tell him I'm still holding that suit for him, but I'm gonna give it to somebody else.
I'm okay, well that's good, Bishop. So we're gonna go on and close it out. But the last question is basically what can you share to the people? What's next post pandemic? What are your plans pertaining ministry? You guys throw in fun fact too. Bishop cooks. He got a cookbook out. Y'all go get that cookbook. All his CDs. They got a million CDs. I can go on name them. I start naming songs. I might go in. But he got CDs out. You can call the church. You can go on the website. You can get on his audios, his books. He's a writer. He's a teacher. The man wears so many titles. That's why he had to hire someone like myself because wardrobe and appearance was the last thing on his mind. But back to those two questions, Bishop. Basically, what do you have to say to the people to encourage people as far as this pandemic? We are coming out of it. God has the final say, and this is not the end. And we will
No.
come out with victory. So, what can you tell? What can you say to encourage people through this so that we continue? A lot of people are not working, like myself. Luckily, I am still working. I'm doing closets, clients. I'm doing photo shoots. People are still calling me. People are still preparing for the future. Thank God. There's some stylists out here that are not getting work. So I'm very grateful to God that I am still have assignments that are happening. But what can you tell the people to encourage them so that they can keep on going and see what the end's gonna be?
Couple of things. We put out our first single, and Lavanja is singing it about God being on time. Our second single will drop next week, and that single is going to be all right. And I absolutely believe it's going to be all right. All of our songs, if you remember, are positive. What's to come is better than what's been. Has got a whole nother run. It's only a test. Got a whole nother run. Things are turning around. Got a whole nother run. After this, we shall live. So the music matches my message. I am in prayer now as to what's going to happen when they release us. Are we going to have to go to multiple services again because people won't want the crowds? Will I have to go back to 7:30, 9:30, 11:30? Will people want to just see everybody and go to 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock and just have one service? I'm kind of open to what the people do, and we're doing responses now. I do not agree with those preachers that were downtown today saying open their churches back on Sunday. It's still too dangerous. We lost 192 people yesterday, and it just does not make sense. We are not equipped to do social distancing. I'm concerned about how we progress and use social media. I've been praying about even doing a Pentecost revival with different preachers from across the world preaching and encouraging the saints as we get through. I want to believe, and I have no button that I can mash and say it's going to happen, but I'm going to believe that this curve is flattening, and it will be curved. It will be curved in the next 30, 40 days. I just think we just got to wait it out and stay at home. Has not brought us this far to leave us, and absolutely, I'm going out to eat again. You're going to take me to Steak 48, and Dutch is going to take me down to Spot Pearls, and Mickey gonna fly me to Los Angeles. I already got plans. I'm making plans what all y'all gonna do since y'all called this pandemic on my birthday. And ain't nobody take me nowhere. No, but really, I believe it's gonna be fine. I think we just have to follow the rules, and we have to be patient. And God is gonna bring us out of this. The late James Cleveland said, "I've had heartaches like this before, disappointments by the score, but I got the victory at last. This too will pass." And then 40 years later, Bashan comes around and says, it ain't going to always be like this. God will perfect that. concerning you. Sooner or later, it's going to turn in my favor. He's working it out for me.
Yes.
I love you, Brandon.
Love you too, sir. Thank
And
you.
all of y'all that tuned in. Y'all be blessed.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Bye bye.